PC fam, welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. It is a beautiful Saturday morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever you are. You know we are international. So depending on where you are, hope you, as long as you're enjoying the show, that's all that matters. Chill, how you living?
Yo, I'm living, B. I'm living. I'm excited about what we're doing, and we rolling. We absolutely rolling. Some good action. We're in the middle of the season. Let's do it.
Yeah, so Chill. We about to get you back out here to the West Coast next month. Enjoy the. Yeah, gonna get to enjoy the Bay this time. Seattle was cool, but and the first time I went to Seattle, I was 18 when I finally got up there. When I went to school up there, and I always felt like Seattle was kind of at that point. Seattle was more of a little cleaner than it is now, and it reminded me of like a cleaner version of San Francisco. But it is just a little bit of a different vibe though. So we're gonna have a good time in San Francisco next month, and obviously it's hard not to have a good time when you're around all that basketball. You know what I mean? The All-Star game, all the things going on. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having it. There we go. All right, I'm good now.
All right. Ooh.
I used to live in the Bay Area, Ox. I lived there for 4 years. I didn't like living in the Bay Area. I thought I was going to retire up there. I did. I loved it out there. I loved it out there. I ended up moving back to the East Coast in 2003, but I loved it up there. And not just the Bay Area. I mean, and I know that's where we're going, and everything about the Bay Area, the vibe is just dope. The food is great. The people are great. The atmosphere is great. West Coast dudes, there was a misconception about West Coast dudes when I was coming up. Remember, I was living out on the West Coast in the midst of the East Coast West Coast beef. I was in the middle of that. I was living in Los Angeles during that time. So from like 96 to like 97, I was right in the middle of that. So there was this misconception about the West Coast dudes, and West Coast dudes had a lot of love for East Coast dudes. There was just a lot of nonsense out there, but just the West Coast in general, I loved it out there. I lived out there for almost 10 years. I went to school out there in Utah, and then from there, I moved to California. I lived there from 97 to 2000. I lived in Los Angeles from 97 to 98, and then I moved from Los Angeles to the Bay Area. I lived up there from 98 to 2003, and I came back to the East Coast. But I love the West Coast, man. The vibe is so dope up there, so I'm really looking forward to going back out there. That's dope.
Yeah, and one thing too, if you've never been to California, I suggest you get out to California, spend some time out there, and explore California though. You know what I'm saying? It's not just surfing and beaches. We got all different types of things in California. It's a big state. But
the thing I remember the most, Ox, about the West Coast, which is crazy, was when I first got introduced to the West Coast. My best friend, he tells me like, "Yo, you need to hear this." I'm like, I need to hear what? So he pops the tape in. This is 1988. He pops the tape in, and all I hear is Straight Outta Compton, crazy motherfucking name. I'm like, first of all, where these dudes from? And he was like, they from Compton. I was like, where's that? And he's like, it's right outside of Los Angeles. Now, again, Ox, I'm 15 years old. I don't know what's going on the West Coast. All I know is the West Coast is the sun never goes down out there because I'm watching Monday Night Football. It's 9 o'clock and it's nighttime and the sun is still up out in California. It's 75 degrees all the time. Chicks walk around in bikinis all day on the beach, and movie stars is out there. Ain't no wild dudes in California. It's not wild out there. Then I get introduced to Ice Cube and NWA, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, it is. Yes, it 100% is wild out there. So, and then I got a chance to experience it because I went out there and saw Los Angeles, and I'm like, yo, this is just like Jersey. It's just nice all the time in terms of weather. Yeah. So ain't no different.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
And actually, we're gonna in a little later on in the show, we're gonna get into some weather talks and and difference of weather in certain places. Chill, I'm not. I seen the video. I'm not healed yet, Chill. I'm not healed yet, but I think we're gonna take a step today. But
grab my pillow, prop my pillow up for my boy Big Ox. We're gonna have a therapy session for my boy.
But before that though, I do want to play a video. We probably won't listen to the whole thing because it is like a 4-minute video. But let's just listen to the first maybe minute or so. And the video is, Chill. We watched on playback the last couple playbacks that we did, 2 of those games that we watched were the Knicks getting their asses kicked.
Mm-hmm.
We seen them get beat up by the OKC Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Then last night we seen, oh yeah, that was ugly. And then last night we seen them get beat up by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, albeit Karl-Anthony Towns was not there, but a loss is a loss. And so we've been seeing these guys get handled.
Mm-hmm.
And so Paul Pierce actually has a reason, his reason for why that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So let's listen to that for a second.
What we got?
I mean, I think it's the clear obvious with the Knicks. They front loaded in their starting lineup. They getting ran into the ground. They all playing 40 plus minutes. And I said this from day one. They don't have no depth. So now you got to depend on all your starters to play 40 minutes. This shit gonna get to you. Now we at the halfway mark. Everybody that played almost about 40, 41 games. They getting tired. They getting tired, dog. And I said this. I said they good. And they gonna probably win a playoff series. But if they gotta play 40-something, they gotta make a move, or they gotta wait till the big fella Thomas. Is that his name? Robinson. He got Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, they need some depth. They need some depth at the perimeter, actually.
Yeah.
Like, because they all gotta play 40 minutes for them to win. And they all gonna get their numbers, it's all gonna look sweet, but they're gonna get tired in that fourth quarter. And that's what I'm seeing. And that's what happened in the playoffs. Like, it just is what it is. They need to make a trade. You know what I'm saying? They need one more perimeter player, and I don't know who that is. But they need another perimeter player. If they think they're gonna go deep in the playoffs like this, playing like this, they got another thing coming. Because you can get through the first round, and then you can battle through the second round. But by the time they get to the conference finals, man, they ain't gonna have no legs.
Who tells Tibbs that?
Nobody telling Tibbs that. You argue with Tibbs every day.
Fuck that.
Man, somebody used to be in shouting matches every day. I'll never forget this conversation. Man, we going over a shoot around, and we doing something
hard,
and we going hard.
Hard.
He like, do it again, man.
No, he stopped. He was being an asshole.
Yeah, Ticket was like, man, what the fuck? He was like doing it. He yelled at Ticket. Ticket was like, man,
how hard you want us to do this shit?
He yelled right back in.
You want us to kill each other? Yeah, I want it, man. Like almost like.
I'll never forget. He said, Ticket, you said some bullshit. You'll never be a head coach in the league.
I shot that. I did.
I was like, damn.
Motherfucker, you don't know what the fuck you doing. You don't know how to. You know greatest way.
Coach in the league.
Yeah, I shot that.
So how do we feel about that?
So I want to start the conversation, Ox, by the Knicks have 3 guys that are in the top 10 in the league in minutes. 3 of them.
Who are those 3 guys?
That's Mikal Bridges. He actually leads the NBA in minutes. It's Josh Hart. He's 2nd in the league in minutes. And OG Anunoby, he's 7th in the league in minutes. So with that being said, his starters, Jalen Brunson, I think he averages almost 36 minutes a game. Cat averages 35 minutes a game. Tibbs actually has rotation players. That's not the issue. He's got rotation players. The difference with his rotation players is that you have to produce, and you have to produce immediately. There is no cushion between the two of you. If you don't produce immediately, you're not getting back in. You're done for the night. That's not who Tibbs is.
Can't Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Campaign, can't they play?
Yes, they can, Knox. Absolutely. Precious
Achiuwa I always thought Landry Shamet was a hooper.
Yes, he 100% is a hooper. But the difference, Ox, is when I'm putting Ox in the game. Ox, you got a couple of minutes to show me something. If you don't show me something in a couple of minutes, you're done for the night. I'm not going to come back to you. I'm not going to put you back in if you turn the ball over, or I'm not going to put you back in if you miss a couple of shots. You're done for the night. What that does is that screws up your confidence as a player. That has you playing tight when you come in the game. Sure, you're going to have nights like what Campaign did last night. I think he had 18 in the second. He came off the bench and got busy. But for the most part, that keeps guys, especially rotation guys, that keeps them tight. And the reason why it keeps them tight, because they know that my margin of error is real short. It's real thin, and I know that I can't make a lot of mistakes. As a rotation player, I'm hoping that I can play more, But I know that I got to do something, and I got to do something immediately. Because if I turn the ball over, I'm probably done for the night. If I miss 2 shots or 3 shots, I'm probably done for the night. If I miss an assignment, I'm probably done for the night. When you got guys who, by the way, and I think I said this to you yesterday, Ox, you got guys like Mikal Bridges who's missed 0 games in the NBA in his career. He plays every night, no doubt about that. Not only him, but the fact that Josh Hart, who looked like he was held together last night with glue and tape, but still on the floor. Still on the floor. When you got guys like that, one, don't want to come out, and 2, are tough as nails, you as a rotation player, you have to know that as soon as I get on the floor, I better do something. And to your point, I'm watching them last night against Minnesota. Ox, they really didn't get beat more than they got beat up. I feel like Minnesota just beat them up more than anything. I felt like they out-physicaled them. They were better on defense. They were better in transition. Yes, Campaign got hot, and Tibbs stuck with him early. But I don't remember him coming back in the game in the second half. I don't remember him coming back in the game in the second half. And I don't know. I don't know if this recipe that Tibbs has, I don't know that it's a recipe for success moving forward. I appreciate the idea that these guys get ran down, right? I mean, they are professional athletes, and I do appreciate that. And I know guys want to play. I'm not going to argue that part. I know guys want to play, and I know that they're going to play. But I have to have, if you're looking at a championship team, I'm looking at rotations of the Bulls when they were winning it. I'm looking at the Warriors when they were winning it. I'm looking at the Toronto Raptors when they won it. I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks. Yo, we got 9 guys. We got 10 guys. Unless, and I feel like Denver was an anomaly off the strength that they got Joker. And Joker was just so good and so durable. And I feel like that was an anomaly. Joker is so good and so durable that he was able to supplement a lot of the stuff that they didn't have. They were able, this Denver team, to shore up that bench a little bit more because Russ is better. With Russ being better, that makes Peyton Watson better. That makes a lot of their other guys better. But with Tibbs, he's got 8 guys, 9 guys. The fact that he doesn't stick with them, that's going to be a recipe for disaster. I might have to agree with Paul Pierce on that.
Right. And I mean, with that being said, they are still the 3 seed in the East. They're 2.5 ahead of Milwaukee.
Yep.
I believe they're 2.5 ahead of Milwaukee and 3 behind Boston. Mm-hmm. So they're looking good right now, but I believe Paul Pierce's point was later on into the playoffs and whatnot. Man, I think they need Mitchell Robinson to get healthy. They need, but Tibbs has to get into that bench a little more. 48 minutes of basketball is a long game,
It doesn't sound like it, but it is.
I don't think people understand how long 48 minutes of basketball is. When you play, like going from high school when you're doing 8-minute quarters, that that's one thing. And then college, 2 20-minute halves. That's one thing. That gets done. When you play 12-minute quarters, that's a lot of basketball.
Yes,
it might not sound like much, but it's a lot. And so I think Tibbs has. I don't know, but chill. I mean, Tibbs always been like this. So
he always been like
this. Is there? I don't see. What do they say? What do they say? You can't teach an old dog new tricks or something.
Nope.
Whatever. I don't know if he's going to be able to change.
Nope. Leopards don't change their stripes, Ox. They don't. Leopards do not change their stripes. And to your point, when you're talking about a 12-minute quarter and a 48-minute game, 48 minutes doesn't sound like a lot of time in the real world. But when you're doing that against the competition that they're going up against, and so that's 3 times a week, by the way. Like they play on average like 3 games a week. That's not including back-to-backs, right? That's including back-to-backs. In addition to playing back-to-backs, you going up against big guys, you going up against these guys every night or every other night. That's hard on your body. Now, I understand that these are professional athletes and they take care of themselves to the best of their ability. But, I mean, we are at the halfway point. I mean, the Celtics have played 40 games so far. I'm sorry, 41 games so far. With them playing for half the season is over. They got 10 guys. So with them having 10 guys, Coach Mazzulla is able to manage them. Tibbs, on the other hand, he did this in Chicago. A lot of people talk about, Derrick Rose was the reason. I mean, Tibbs was the reason with Derrick Rose. Don't forget, Ox, Mikal Bridges is leading the league in minutes. So did Lou Aldang when he played for Tibbs in Chicago. So this is nothing new with Tibbs. Right. This is who he is. He's gonna play his main guys. The question is how much production is he gonna get out of his bench, and how long is he gonna stick with them? Because he's shown in the past that if you don't produce early, he will not stick with you. He will go in the other direction. He's shown that.
I don't have a problem with playing your guys, Chill. I don't, but you have to find rest for Mikal and Josh Hart. You have to find some rest for those two. Josh Hart, it seemed like I thought he dislocated his shoulder or something last night. He went to the locker room, and 30 seconds later he was at the scorer's table ready to check in.
Right back out.
You know what I mean? Mikal Bridges, who's never missed a game in his career, is out there playing the most minutes in the NBA. These guys are durable. Mikal is durable. But with that being said, you have players on your bench that can play some basketball. You know what I mean? So it's not like you just got. Now, mind you, I'm not saying they have the best bench, but they're not bums. You got guys out there that can give you, 3 minutes a quarter. You know what I'm saying? That's 12 minutes. You work them in there. You know what I'm saying? You get these. There's nothing wrong with that. I think Tibbs is more maybe built for a college style.
That might be. That might be the
case. I think so. I think he's more built for a college style, but. I don't know. We'll see.
Raising my hand, Ox. Hey, Coach, I can play, yo. I mean, I know that we got players that's good, that's probably better, but Coach, you can put me in. You can put me in for a little while. It's okay. I can rock.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I was on the Tibbs roster and I wasn't a top 6, 7 guy, and I was like 8 or 9, I'd be pissed.
I might be asking out. Yeah, I might be asking out. Sure. Because I know I ain't getting no run. I know for a fact I'm not getting no run. I know it. Even though I'm going at it every day in practice with Josh Hart. I'm going at it every day in practice with Miles McBride. Every day I'm going at it in practice with these dudes. I'm showing up to practice. I'm doing my job. I stay healthy. Meanwhile, I'm coming here every day and I'm sitting on the bench. Like, Coach, why am I not playing? What's going on?
I want to play. I'm like, yo, y'all could wave me. I'll go play in Europe or something. I'm trying to play.
Why am I not playing? What's the problem?
I don't got time for this. You know what I'm saying? No. So I really hope that something happens over there. Maybe he has an epiphany and he just decides, you know what, let me get these guys some minutes, because I would really hate to see Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, or any of those guys go down with the injury that could have been prevented just because Tibbs wants to play these guys so much minutes. And maybe he's of the mind where you're making $30-40 million, you're going to earn it. I don't know if that's
which is fine. And I don't have a problem with that. You can earn it, but okay, even guys who make that kind of money, even people who work jobs, other jobs that make a lot of money, they do have days off. They do have lunch breaks. They do have times within the day where I ain't on the clock all day every day. No, I'm not. Right. There's a time while I'm on the clock that I do get to sit down for a couple of minutes. I'm not going the entire 12-hour shift. I'm not going if I'm here for 16 hours. I'm not going the entire 16 hours or 15 of the 16 hours. No, that's not going on, Coach. And on top of that, I don't think it's just the fact that Tibbs is running these guys thin. I mean, if I look at their offense, a lot of their offense that I've seen, there is some ball movement, which is new this year than what it was last year. I seen Jalen Brunson last year dominating the ball. Julius Randle would move the ball, but I saw Jalen Brunson dominating the ball last year. There's a lot more ball movement this year with Mikal Bridges on the roster, with OG Anunoby on the roster, with now Jalen Brunson getting downhill, with Cat on the roster. There's a lot more ball movement. However, with those only 6 guys, that's only going to take you so far. That is only going to take you so far. I'd like to see a little bit more pick and pop between Jalen Brunson and Cat. Cat gives them a lot of in transition. He's got a lot of stop and pop in transition, just like Mikal Bridges does. They hit him above the break. They hit him in the corner, and he gives them good action there. OG Anunoby is giving them real good action on defense, which he turns into offense. I think that's really good for the Knicks. I just feel like with that offense, with the ball movement that they have, if they could get those other guys, the rotation guys, involved more, I think there'll be a better offense. And I feel like they'll be fresher when the playoffs start.
Right. Definitely. They got to do something.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would just hate to see something, a type of injury or anything, especially something that could be avoided. Like when Joel broke that bone in his face because he was in the game when he shouldn't have been, something like that. It was even last night. Josh Hart was in the game. It was like a minute and a half left or something, and the game was over. It's just like
why is he still out here? They up by 12 with 2 minutes.
Yeah,
they're not coming back.
Yeah, but so I want to talk about the title of the show. Everybody, you can see it. The best defense we've ever seen. I've been told that statistically, this is the best defense we've seen since the mid 90s. I'm talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. We talked about them pretty heavily yesterday on the panel. Talking about just the way they move around, the controlled chaos that they cause.
Sure.
Doing this without Chet, a guy that some people thought early in the season had action at DPOY. We're talking about Lou Dort. Mark Dagenhart called him a pit bull on defense. Said these guys are, they're big, they're long, fast, aggressive. All the things you want from a defensive team, the way they scramble scramble and rotate. It's amazing. I'm sold on them being a great defense. But chill, I'm not sold on this best defense since the 90s thing. I'm so not buying this, Jill. I'm just not. I've heard that statistically this is the best team since the 97 Bulls. Right. And I'm not buying that.
No. For one reason only, ladies and gentlemen, there's a dude on the crew, not Jordan either, not Dennis Rodman. For that reason right there, there's one dude on the crew, that reason why Ox ain't buying this. And I tend to agree with him in that aspect. Yes, I do.
It's just I do. I just don't see it, but much love to OKC. They are terrorizing the league. They are playing hellacious defense.
Sure.
I love what I'm seeing from these dudes. So me making those statements is not a knock. I know some people feel like if I don't say this is the best defense ever, then I'm being a hater. And I want to make it very clear. I'm not hating on OKC. I think this is a great team. I enjoy watching them play. And I hope to watch them make a really deep playoff run.
Right.
So, what I want to do, Chill, I want to talk about OKC a little bit and where they stack up against some of these top defenses. And I also want to get a top did you do 5 or 10, Chill?
I did 5.
I want to do a top 5 defenses of all time list with you. And also top 5 defenders of all time.
Okay.
But before we do that, Chill, what makes a great defense and why is OKC a great defense?
I think one of the things that make a great defense is athleticism. Like, we have to be able to move. We have to be able to move. We can't stay stagnant. We can't be stiff. We have to be able to move. Number 2, we have to communicate. If we just out here and we're just running around and we're not talking to each other, then nothing's getting done. Number 3, and I think that this is really important, great defenses have smart players. They know how to shoot gaps. They know how to back off. They know how to crowd. They know how to communicate with each other. They know where to be. They even know how to communicate with each other just with body language and in silence. And we do have to talk, no doubt about that. We do have to talk, but we also know how to move. We also know how to communicate with each other in silence, right? So if I'm communicating, in addition to me communicating, if I'm athletic, if I'm smart, and good coaching and the schemes that actually benefit my game, I feel like that makes a really good defense. And there are defenses. What I care about is, when you're talking about great defenses, I care about winning. So when you're talking about being an all-time great defense, winning matters to me. Now, sure, your defense is good right now, but what has that resulted in? Because I've seen some great defenses, but they didn't win. Like the 94 Knicks. That was a great defense. The 93 Knicks, they had won 27 straight games at home. They didn't win the NBA championship, but that was one of the best defenses ever. The 04 Spurs, one of the best defenses ever, right? The 05 Pistons, that was a great defense, right? So I care about winning and what you produce when you winning, right? So like, I think about that 03 Spurs, defense. That's the number 5 one that I have, Ox. When we talking about top 5 defenses, That's the fifth best defense that I've seen.
You're making your list right now? You want to go start right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so the top number 5 is the 04?
The Spurs. The 03 Spurs. 03 Spurs that won the NBA championship. They had a glass cleaner. What the 03 Spurs remind me a lot of is a team with a bunch of guys that knew where they were supposed to be. They didn't have a lot of deficiencies on defense. They had some deficiencies on defense. David Robinson was old, but he still was solid on defense. Bruce Bowen was coming into his own as an elite defender. Not only was he coming into his own as an elite defender, Steven Jackson was a bull. He knew exactly where to be. Ginobili, who was more mature than other rookies. I think he was 25 when he showed up to the NBA. Tony Parker, who was young, basically took the lead from those guys and learned from those guys. And then you had the anchor, which was Duncan, who made up for almost everything that was going wrong. Whatever you guys didn't do, I got your back. He was their Scottie Pippen. Ultimately, he was the guy who, whatever you didn't do or whatever you couldn't do, I got you. If you couldn't cover on the perimeter, I'll make up for that. If we needed rebounds, I got that covered too. You need rim protection, I got that covered. So whatever needed to be done, Duncan did it. Ability to switch, his ability to not just beat guys to spots, to get to the rim and protect the rim without fouling. He was fantastic on that 03 Spurs team. I mean, they ultimately won the NBA championship. And Ox, you and I differ about this. One of the main reasons why he was so good as a defender, because his ability to rebound, how much he stopped possessions. So, when you got teams who, as hard as they work to get buckets, when you only getting one possession, that's a big deal. You getting one shot. You're not getting 2 and 3 shots. You're not on the offensive glass. Even though you are on the offensive glass, you're not getting a lot of extra possessions. No, you get one shot. Duncan's in there.
Well, so yes, we've definitely we debated about it before. I think now we're kind of at the point we just kind of accept each other's views on the rebounding thing. I might not consider it necessarily defense, but I've always stood on the fact that I think rebounding is the most important part of the game. I think rebounding, securing that rebound, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, I think those are the most game-changing parts of the game. So I just wanted to just put that on record.
To your point, Ox, I mean, I can have a hand in your face. I can beat you to spots. I can do all of that stuff. But if you keep getting the ball back, that doesn't help. We have to stop the possession. And that's why I do get your point. But again, that 03 Spurs team with Duncan, I mean, he was the anchor. He was fantastic. And number 4, very similar to what was going on, but almost an upgraded version of them. And that was the 08 Celtics. Ox, I always felt like on a great defense, you need Debo. You need that dude who I'm with him. That's why my chest stuck out a little bit more. And Rashad McCants and I had a conversation where he said, are you that same toughness? Yeah, is that same confidence when that dude is off the floor? Well, that doesn't mean that I don't have confidence, right? That doesn't mean that I'm not tough. I'm just a little bit tougher with him. That's all. I talk a little bit louder. I stick my chest out a little bit more. I walk a little bit taller when I'm with this dude. And that's who Garnett is. Yeah. That's who Garnett was. As good as Rondo was as a defender, I got Ticket behind me. I might talk a little bit more when I got Ticket behind me. I might be a little bit rougher with you on defense. My hands are busier because I got Ticket behind me, right? And they had a damn good defense. I
think people sleep on the defensive ability of Ray Allen. I think Ray Allen and Paul Pierce are both very underrated defenders. Now, I'm not trying to make a case for them being all-time defenders. I think they fit into that team scheme very well. And then you had some really good defenders coming off that bench, obviously, as well. But I do think that Ray Allen and Paul Pierce don't get credit for being, very good defenders, right, especially in that scheme.
And I think that was largely due to Ray Allen when he got with Paul Pierce and when he got with KG and Rondo. He was on the other side of who he used to be. But he could still get around screens. He could still contest shots, right? He was still really good in defensive schemes. He could still defend. Ray Allen was never an all-league defender, but he wasn't a cone either. And the fact that he had Ticket when he had Ticket running with him, that made him even better. I mean, this is the same Celtic team. I think they gave up 100 points twice. I think they gave up 100 points twice going deep into the playoffs. Kevin Garnett, one of the best glass cleaners in NBA history, which goes back to my original point about Duncan. You know, when you holding teams to one shot, you really thwart a team's confidence. You shut that confidence down when you holding the team to one shot. And with Garnett being the anchor on that crew, I mean, he was fantastic. Now, were they great? Now, this next team, if I'm being honest with you, Ox, I was kind of struggling between the 08 Celtics and this team right here, which is the 89 Pistons. I mean, this is a team that nobody scored 100 on them in the playoffs. They held every team under 100. No team came, and not only that, I think only one team in 89, only one team came into their, two teams came into their building and won. That was it. That was the Bulls in the East Finals, and that was the Trailblazers in Game 2, I think. That was it. They ain't lose no other games at home. And with Joe Dumars, who anybody who knows me knows, like you dudes talk this Tony Allen stuff to me. I don't think Tony Allen is a better defender than Joe Dumars. I don't. I think Joe Dumars was much tougher. I think Joe Dumars was smarter. I think Joe Dumars was just as big. He knew how to get around screens. I think he was better in closeouts. I think he was a better one-on-one defender. I think he was more physical and smarter, even though the rules were different, but I think he was more physical. I think he was smarter, and I think he was better in the post. I just think that Joe Dumars was a better, and with those reasons, I think Joe Dumars was a better overall defender than Tony Allen. And I think Tony Allen was a damn good defender. I won't argue that Tony Allen was a great defender. But when I look at this Pistons team, they had great rebounding. Bill Laimbeer, if you could imagine Kevin Love being a defender, that's basically who he was. Imagine Kevin Love being a better defender. That's Bill Laimbeer. That's who he was. So on top of that, right? On top of that, you also had other glass cleaners on their crew, right? You had James Edwards, you had John Sally, and it was almost impossible for that 89 team. It was almost impossible to get to the rim. Almost impossible with Rick Mahorn down there, John Sally, Dennis Rodman, who, and we'll go over the top 5 defenders all time in a little bit, but Dennis Rodman, guys like that, it was almost impossible to score against these guys. Almost impossible. So when I think about that Pistons team in 89, I think to myself, wow, man, these guys were fantastic.
So you said that nobody scored over 100 on them in the playoffs. Do you have like an estimate number of how many times somebody scored over 100 in them in the 82 games?
I don't have that. No,
okay.
I don't have that. But I do know that they, throughout the course of that season, I think that they held teams throughout the course of the season. I think they held teams under 95 for the season. I'm confident in that. They held teams under 95 for the season. And since we're on the subject of 95, the 95-96 Bulls, I think, is the second best defense in NBA history. They had 3 guys. This only happened 5 times in NBA history. They had 3 guys that was first team all defense. The 69-70 Knicks did it with Walt Frazier, Dave DeBusschere, and Willis Reed. The 75-76 Celtics did it with Dave Cowens, Havlicek, and Paul Silas. The 78 Trailblazers did it. In addition to the 78 Trailblazers doing it, the 83 76ers did it with Mo Cheeks, Bobby Jones, and Moses Malone. 4 of those 5 teams won the NBA championship. The 78 Blazers was the only team that didn't win the NBA championship. That Chicago Bulls team, Ox, they held teams for on average 93 points. And we get to the playoffs, they played 18 games. In those 18 games, when we got to the playoffs, I think it was five times teams scored over 90. That's it. 5 times. That's once every almost 6 games that they holding teams under 90. That's once every, and then they had, and Ox, when I talk about Scottie Pippen, you see Ox face light up. It's like when I talk when you talk about Olajuwon with me. So when I talk about Scottie Pippen, that's how he is with him, and I understand it. I understand it every day. So what Tim Duncan was to the San Antonio Spurs, that was Scottie Pippen. I'm gonna do what everybody else doesn't do. Jay, what you can't do, I'll take that assignment. I'll get on the glass. I'll come up with a big rebound. I'll come up with a big steal. I'll pick up full court. I'll slow this guy down. I'll disrupt the defense. I'll get in the passing lane, right? I'll cause havoc. I'll do all of that stuff that other people won't do. And because I do that stuff, that makes Jay even better on defense. That makes Dennis Rodman an even more efficient and more lethal rebounder. Because I'm going to do the stuff that other people won't do. And I'm going to allow you guys, I'm going to enable you guys to do more of your job. More of your job. And when you do that, my team is so much better. It goes back to the 08 Celtics. When you talk about having a guy on your team that's a dog, you stick your chest out a little bit more. Jordan stuck his chest out a little bit more running with Pippen. Dennis Rodman stuck his chest out a little bit more. I got this ball hawk. I got this guy that I'm running with that he makes my life way less difficult. Oh my goodness, man, you guys ain't got nothing for us if I got him. So, I mean, that Bulls team was incredible.
I mean, chill. You know, I don't want to turn this into a Scotty hype session because, you know, there's a lot of.
We can absolutely do that.
I'm down for that.
We can absolutely do that.
There's a lot of great defenders that we're going to talk about, and we are talking about. But when you think of a guy that's 6'9", super long arms, you know what I mean, fast, very fast, quick on his feet, change of direction, really quick. But I think people underestimate how strong Scottie Pippen was and his ability to match up with the power forwards of his era. Yep. You know, Scottie was able to guard point guards of his era and then be okay getting switched on to power forwards for, you know, for a time being. So I think that it's very slept on how strong Scottie Pippen was.
And when you're talking about Scottie Pippen in terms of his versatility, I mean, he was unmatched. If I'm not mistaken, there's plenty of coaches who have said, who've said this, that Scottie Pippen's the only guy that could score 5 points and dominate the game. Why? Because of how good he was on the offensive and defensive end. Watching him disrupt your offense. So in the 98 East Finals, game 1, they throw a monkey wrench in everything Indiana doing, Ox. Why? Because they put Scottie Pippen on Mark Jackson, and he picking up Mark Jackson full court. What is this 6'9" Doberman doing in my face? I was expecting to see Ron Harper, who was going to pick me up, you know, at the pickup point being probably at the 3-point line. No, I got Scottie Pippen chasing me baseline to baseline. Now we getting the offense started with 12 seconds on the shot clock because this dude is wearing me down. And I got to get somebody else to come bring the ball up. I'm watching Scottie Pippen beat Magic Johnson in spots because I'm just as big as you. I'm just as strong as you. And there's really nothing that you can do to get around me. And if you do get around me, Scottie Pippen was one of the best recovery defenders that I've ever seen. One of the best recovery defenders that I've ever seen. In addition to him being a recovery defender, he was great with his hands. And that just made the Bulls defense so much better. So if I got Scottie Pippen ball hawking, I got Dennis Rodman, arguably the best rebounder in NBA history, and I got Michael Jordan, arguably the best perimeter defender in NBA history. If that's going on, I mean, you're gonna have a difficult time dealing with us. You're gonna have a really difficult time dealing with us. So I think they're the second best defense all time. And the best defense that I've seen in my lifetime, and that includes even doing homework on the 64 Celtics, right? You know, I wasn't around, but doing homework on the 64 Celtics and the pace that the NBA played in, and they were fantastic. I never seen nothing like the 04 Pistons, Ox. I never seen anything like that before. A team that collectively, as a complete unit, right? As a complete unit, shut the door on everything that you were trying to do. Everything was difficult. That includes breakaway layups, Ox. If you got a breakaway layup, you better hurry up because I'm not going to get another breakaway layup. You get a layup at the basket, that was difficult. Everything, wide open jump shots, everything was difficult. Chauncey's chasing you off screens. Rip is chasing you off screens. Tayshaun Prince hands basically like a spider where his hands stayed busy. You're not roughing him up. You're not pushing him around. He's great in transition. That's why they were able to slow a lot of teams down. Ox, I watched them shut the door on the Lakers in the finals. I mean, they held them under 94 to 5 games that they played them. They held that Kobe, Shaq, Malone, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher. That was a bomb squad. Gary Payton. They held them under 90 4 to 5 games that they played them, including a game where they held them under 70. Shut the door on this team. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know that sounds ridiculous. Shut the door on these guys.
I mean, man. you got to think in that Lakers run, there were some series where Shaq and Kobe damn near averaged 70 together.
Right.
So for the Pistons to hold them to under 70
as a unit.
Come on, man.
Kobe Bryant, game 3, game 4, and game 5. And I know that a lot of y'all do not want to have this conversation. In the NBA Finals, in the NBA Finals in 2004, Kobe Bryant in Game 3, Game 4, Game 5 combined 17, 3, and 2. That was Bryant in them last 3 games. 17, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. That was Bryant. Shut the door on him. Completely shut the door on him. So I think they're the best defense that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, Chill. I think so. Let me share that real quick. Let me share what 1 second. What we just went through, and then we'll get to the best defenders of all time. Chat, feast your eyes on this here. Oh, I didn't pull it up, my bad. Right here we have to the left, Chill's top 5 defenses of all time. Number 5, we have the 03 Spurs. Number 4, 08 Celtics. Number 3, the 89 Pistons. Number 2, the 96 Bulls. And number 1, Chill's top defense of all time is the 04 Pistons. Now, Chill, do you feel like the OKC Thunder stack up to any of these 5 teams as far as defense goes?
Not right now, I don't. I mean, from a perimeter standpoint, I mean, I think that the way that they fly around and the way that they communicate, I think it's great. But
yeah,
there's a correlation with all 5 of these teams, Ox. And that correlation is that they dominated in the playoffs. They dominated in the regular season, and then that translated to the playoffs. I've always felt like, and I still stand on this logic, and I will always stand on this logic. The regular season is where the legend is made, and in the postseason is where the legend is elevated. So the legend of the 03 Spurs in the playoffs, I mean, the 03 Spurs in the regular season with Duncan and older David Robinson, when we get to the playoffs, that legend was elevated. How much better they were. Same thing with the Celtics. How much better they were in dogfights. How difficult it was. And that Atlanta team, I mean, they were in a dogfight with them. They were in a dogfight with that Atlanta team. They were in a dogfight with that Bulls team. These teams were for real. And the Celtics were shutting the door on these guys. Shutting the door on them.
Chill. So I'm looking here. So in the Spurs, I see Duncan. Celtics, I see KG. Pistons, I see Dumars. Bulls, I see Scotty, Jordan 2, Ron Harper. 04 Pistons, obviously you see Ben, Rashid, Tayshaun, the whole starting lineup, Tayshaun, Rip, Chauncey, just defensive stoppers. So in all 5 of these teams, I can name 1 or 2 all-time great defenders. Top 10, 15 defenders on these teams. Does OKC have a guy that might go down as an all-time great defender? And we can include Chet in that as well.
Maybe Chet. Maybe Chet, depending on how he holds up. Maybe Chet, depending on how he holds up. But other than that, no, I don't think so. Not to the level that you talking about, Ox. Where you talking about where you talking about the 04 Pistons, the Bulls, the 89 Pistons and stuff. Players to that level, when you're talking about defenders to that level, nah. I don't think that they have anybody like that right now. No.
Yeah, I don't. I see. I mean, I see my OKC fans in the chat. They're going crazy right now. I think y'all gotta relax. Chet is going to be a really good defender, a great defender. But I don't think we could put him in that level yet. We need to give the kid 5-6 years to get it together, get stronger, and let's wait and see. But I don't see Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Rasheed Wallace, and Chet Hogan.
Pippen.
I don't. At least Scotty out of this. I don't see any of those guys on this team. But speaking of that, and guys, I see we got some guys in the lobby. Be patient with us. You know what I'm saying? I want to get through these lists before we get to the lobby. So we'll get through this top five defenders, and then we'll open up the floor to the lobby for everybody to kind of, give their take and let us know how they feel about Chill's list today.
Yeah.
Chill, before we do get your list on who are the top 5 defenders of all time, can I get a little bit of a? Well, you know what? Actually, chill. Hold on one second. Let me be a W host. Let me be a W host. I've seen super chats go by, and I got to read these.
Got to
really
handle
quick.
those.
Got to. Super chats always come first. Carlos Hernandez says, "Hey, chill. Did you see the Thunder without Shea last night? I asked that because I only see him and J-Dub as the ball handlers, and I don't think J-Dub can carry yet if Shea got injured in the playoffs."
Even if he didn't get injured, he's one of the guys. He is actually the guy that I'm the most worried about. The same way, and I've actually said this to Ox, the same way I feel about Cleveland with Mobley. I don't think Mobley's there yet. I think he's getting close, but I don't think he's there yet. And I feel like the same thing is going on with J-Dub. I don't think he's there yet. Because I think we can win a playoff series. I think we can win 2 playoff series. When you get deeper into the playoffs, your game has to raise even more. And I think SGA can do that. I think SGA is a damn fine player. I'm not sure that J-Dub can do that on a consistent basis going deeper into the playoffs. I don't think he's there yet. Can he do it later on? Maybe in another – I still think that they're a year away. Maybe in another year. I think that we can have a different conversation about that. But right now, I think he's the Achilles heel to this Oklahoma City team winning the NBA championship because I don't think he's ready yet.
Okay. And Alan R wants to say MJ is not arguably the greatest perimeter defender.
Unless you think he's the best perimeter defender ever. That's the only argument it is, unless you think that. So
is that what you're saying, Alan R? Let us know.
That has to be what you're saying. Because you can't name perimeter defenders and not put Jay in there. You can't do that. Great perimeter, all-time great perimeter defenders, GOAT perimeter defenders, and not put Jay in there. You can't.
Okay, and context clues. Ox, did you watch the 2 unrivaled games yesterday? Also, Skylar is tough, but Jordan have to block her shot like that. I didn't tap into unrivaled yesterday, but y'all make sure that y'all keep tapping in. I will get with it. Y'all got to remember, Jewel and Skylar, that got some off-the-court issues going on right now. Things are being investigated from that Supersonics team. So Jewel absolutely had to block Skylar how she did yesterday. Man, these unrivaled teams, that there's teams of 6, and I see some really good teams out there, y'all. So keep tapping into that 3-on-3 unrivaled team league. Shout out to Stewie. Shout out to Nafisa for getting that done. Shout out to everybody else that invested in that league. I think it's something great. Okay, so those are the super chats. Did I say Supersonics? My bad. I meant the Storm. I meant the Storm. Y'all know what I meant. My bad.
That's why I didn't say nothing, because I knew what you were talking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, so let's get through these before we get to the lobby. So y'all just be patient. Chill. Before we get into these top 5 defenders of all time, could you kind of explain to the people, the viewers watching, what makes you a top 5 defender? I mean, is it longevity? Is it versatility? Is it strength? Is it tenacity? Is it being vocal on the court? Like, is it impact? What is it that makes you a top 5 defender of all time? And then let's hear who you have in your top 5 defenders. Is it all defensive teams? Because I've seen somebody in the chat say that Rasheed Wallace is not a great defender because he didn't make the all defensive teams. What is it that makes you a great?
Well, it's everything that you just said, Ox. And the thing that I don't want to leave out, because I say the same thing about players being all-time great players. Ox, I care about what you did. I care about when you did it. I care about how you did it. I care about who you did it against. And I care about how often you did it. That's what I care about when we're talking about great defenders. When we're talking about a guy beating a guy to spots, talking about being smart as a defender, talking about being rangy as a defender, being versatile. I care about that. The thing that I've always cared about when you're talking about being a great defender, my thing at the top of my list is your ability to recover. Because you, as a great defender, you're going to go up against the best offensive players, the best scorers. That's going to be your responsibility. So during that time, you're going to get beat. That's part of it. That's part of being a great defender. You're going to go up against the best. You're going to go up against the best scorers, and you're going to get beat. How do you recover? How do you keep yourself engaged in plays? Do you just give up? Do you foul? And a lot of the all-time great defenders, they put themselves in position where they don't have to recover. They put themselves in position where they can keep the ball away from a guy. And when they do get the ball, when the other guy gets the ball, they put themselves in a position where they don't have to recover as much, where they stay smart, their principles, where their hands are moving, where their feet are moving, where they're not fouling, where there's a good distance, where they understanding the scouting report, which goes back to IQ, which I talked about plenty of times when it comes to defense. Your ability to rebound, your ability to make big plays. Because a lot of people, when they think clutch, they just think clutch is a big shot. No. You're clutch making a big play. And big plays are on both sides of the ball, whether it's a pass, whether it's a rebound, whether it's a steal, whether it's diving out of bounds and keeping a play alive. Those are clutch plays. All of those are clutch plays. So when I think about a guy who's a great defender and a top 5 defender all time, all of those things come into play. And when you did it, how you did it, how often you did it, and when the stakes got higher, where were you? Where were you when that was going on? And when I think about the top 5 defenders, at number 5, I got Tim Duncan. I can be honest with you when I say that Tim Duncan is one of the most fundamentally sound, not bigs, one of the most fundamentally sound defensive players that I've ever seen. His ability to protect the rim, be around the rim, be where the action is, but not be where the action is almost unrivaled. He knew how to rotate. He knew who to talk to. He might have seemed quiet because he didn't talk a lot of trash, but he was a big time communicator when it came to his guys. He knew how to rotate. He knew who to talk to. He knew what to say to him. He knew how to keep his hands busy. He stayed on the glass. Very rarely did I see him get out physical. And on top of that, he was tough as nails because when you're a great defender, you're going to get tested. Guys are going to push back. Tim Duncan was not soft, right? Tim Duncan was not soft in any aspect. And I think one of the things about Tim Duncan that I marveled at was his versatility, both on the wing and on the box, because he can switch on to a 2-guard. I watched him play in 99, his second year in the league, and I'm watching him get switched on to Latrell Sprewell, and Latrell Sprewell's trying to go by him, and he's meeting Latrell Sprewell at the rim and smacking it on the glass. And Latrell Sprewell's trying to get to the rim, and he can, and he's got to dribble all the way out and go back to the perimeter, which gives Tim Duncan, when he's covering him, which gives Tony Parker which gives Manu Ginobili enough time to get back to him.
Yeah, switch back. Yeah.
It gives him enough time to get back to him. Tim Duncan was a fantastic defender. Now, like you just mentioned, being on an all-league defensive team, just so you know, Tim Duncan, these how many defensive players of the year he has? 0. None. That doesn't mean that he wasn't a top 5 defender all time. Not in my estimation. That doesn't mean that. But and number 4 is Scottie Pippen, and I'm having a difficult time because these other 3 ahead of him, the other 3 guys ahead of him, I had a hard time with this because Scottie, I think, is the best perimeter defender in NBA history. Better than Leonard, better than Jordan, better than Bryant, better than Joe Dumars, better than Sidney Moncrief, better than Albert Robinson. I mean, I could go down the line of perimeter defenders. There isn't a guy on the perimeter that Scottie Pippen couldn't cover. Scottie Pippen, the best attribute to Scottie Pippen as a defender was his length. And how he used that was he kept the ball away from you. That was the most important part, because as scorers, what scorers do, the way that they get themselves in a rhythm is by having the ball. Scottie didn't allow that. Scottie did everything he could to keep the ball away from you and throw you off rhythm. That's what made him so great. And when I added his versatility, where he can guard a point guard 94 feet, where he can switch on to a 2-guard, where he can recover and block shots. And we talk about being clutch, right, Ox? We talk about being clutch. I'm watching the 93 finals where Danny Ainge has got a wide open look to tie the game in Phoenix in game 2. Scottie Pippen blocks the shot to end the game. Game's over. That's clutch.
Yeah. Clutch defense,
that's a big-time clutch play. Big-time clutch play for Scottie Pippen. Not only that, also in the 1990, and again, I can talk about regular season matchups where I'm watching Scottie Pippen against Reggie Miller. I'm watching Scottie Pippen, who said that Dominique Wilkins was the toughest player that he had to deal with. But watching him go up against Dominique Wilkins, dealing with him. With that being said, when we got into the postseason, I'm watching him in the 97 finals. I don't know if you remember this, Ox, but Scottie Pippen comes up with the steal and pushes it to Tony Kukoc. It's a 1-possession game. They still have an opportunity to score. That's clutch right there. Scottie Pippen's the best perimeter defender that I've ever seen.
I'm just sometimes sometimes I get so frustrated when I see things like, how long was Duncan able to effectively switch on the wings? Do you take into account that most of those wings were as advanced with the ball? What are you talking about?
Right. like dealing with Latrell Sprewell on the wings. Hell, I don't know if you know this. I'm not sure if you know this, but dealing with Allen Houston on the wing is hell. I don't care if you're 6'5" or you're 6'10". Dealing with Allen Houston on the wing is hell.
What do you mean they weren't advanced with the ball? He was playing in the 2000s.
Yes, against Kobe Bryant.
I hate to derail the conversation for disagreeing with the chat. Shout out to the chat. Y'all keep leaving these comments, man. But, name them. No, I'm not gonna go ahead. Go ahead.
At number 3 is Dennis Rodman, and pound for pound, Dennis Rodman is the best rebounder in NBA history. Pound for pound, he's the best rebounder that the NBA has ever seen, and he was the disruptor. That's what I care about. That's another thing that I care about when I think about defense. Whatever it is you're trying to do, I'm throwing a monkey wrench in it. That's what Scottie Pippen did. That's what Dennis Rodman did on the perimeter and on the block. Scottie Pippen Dennis Rodman threw a monkey wrench in everything that you was trying to do, no matter what it was. Everything. He was throwing off everything that you have. So I got Dennis Rodman at 3. I got Bill Russell at 2. And I mean, Bill Russell, he revolutionized defense. Started fast breaks. He revolutionized shot blocking. He revolutionized rebounding. He revolutionized how teams played defense off the strength of how good he was, and his ability to recover. Where guys got by Havlicek, and it was Russell who was basically jumping over Havlicek, smacking the ball on the glass. Right? He did all of that stuff to make that team. I think the 64 Celtics, I think they had a 90. I think they had a 94 or 93 or 94 offensive rating. I mean, that's ridiculous. Defensive rating, I'm sorry. And that's in an era, right? That's in an era where, you know, they were shooting 100 shots. I mean, they were playing fast in that era. So with that being said, the best defensive player in my estimation of all times is Hakeem Olajuwon. Never seen anybody get on the glass, disrupt your offense, your transition game, shut down the paint, shot block, all of this stuff in combination, and also can switch on the perimeter as well. Even though I don't want, as much as I didn't want Olajuwon switched on to Kevin Johnson on the perimeter, I didn't hate it because I felt like he could handle himself. I didn't hate it when Tim Hardaway got switched on to him. I didn't hate it, but he could handle himself. So those are my top 5 defensive players of all time, Ox.
Okay. I'm going to pull those up. But I also want to just say to the chat, like, there's still a good amount of time left in the show. Y'all that agrees, the ones of you that agree so heavily with this list, the ones of you that are like, oh, chill, you're crazy, you're lying to the kids, and I can't believe you said that. That's blasphemy, and all of that type of stuff. You know, whatever you guys are saying, click on the link. Like, I would love to hear your points. I would love to hear from you on why you think, what'd you say, Ben Simmons is a better defender than Scottie Pippen. I would love to know why you think Michael Jordan's not top 20, like this super chat from Alan Narr says. Jordan isn't a top 20 perimeter defender of all time. I would love to know, Alan, why do you feel that way?
I'd love to hear you name 10 perimeter defenders better than Jordan. I'd love to hear you name 5 of them better than him.
Anybody that agrees with any of these takes, I mean, just please, I'll drop the link again. I'm dropping the link again. That's what this is all about. It's all about engaging with the viewers and getting some of y'all takes. You know, like, I'm just genuinely curious. Are you trolling? Just want to are your fingers bored? Do you just want to type something, or do you really mean this? Because if you mean it, click on the link. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and share this again and show y'all. Here is Chill's top 5 defenders of all time. We did the top 5 defenses over here to the left, as you can see. And if you look to the right, you will see Chill's top 5 defenders. Starting with number 5, Tim Duncan. Number 4, Scottie Pippen. Number 3, Dennis Rodman. Number 2, Bill Russell. And number 1, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Mm-hmm.
So chill. This best defense of all time, Oklahoma City Thunder that we're seeing right now. Do any of those guys stack up to any of these guys?
No, they don't. Mm-mm. Nope, they don't. And I know that we live in a different time, Ox, and it's easy to go off what's going on right now, right? I think it's easy to go off what's going on right now, but like when it was in real time, when Timmy D, when Pippen, when Dennis Rodman, when Olajuwon were running around, I mean, the way we were talking about those guys, and I'm not, I don't think that I'm living in the past. I haven't seen anybody that has affected an offense defensively, individually, like these guys have. I have not. And Kawhi Leonard, when Kawhi Leonard was at his best, when Draymond was at his best, even Rudy Gobert, as good as he was, even though Rudy Gobert had issues on the perimeter, which he fixed later on, he fixed those issues. But even still, individually, I have not seen guys at their best in today's game that can deal with these dudes.
Definitely not. Not. Okay, so let's get to the lobby. We'll start here. We'll start with my man Football Breakdown. What's up, fam?
What up?
What's good? Sorry, I gotta pause my game. How you guys doing?
What up?
Chill. I don't have much problem with your list. I'm not as knowledgeable as pre 90s or 95 basketball as you two are. I'm more so like a player evaluator. But just an honorable mention, Kevin Garnett. I've always loved his.
I had him right outside the top 5.
He's an honorable mention. I assumed you did. If you have Tim Duncan right there, Kevin Garnett is always in these conversations. So as far as versatility, I'm curious to see where AD is going to end up at the end of his career in terms of versatility. Maybe not all timers, but just in terms of like versatile defenders, how people where people put him. I still think Kevin Garnett motor is better, and like I prefer guys with a better motor defensively and effort. So I think your list is pretty spot on. But can I say something real quick? Because I've been noticing a trend recently in your show. Speaking of defenders, Wemby.
Yep.
I think y'all jumped the gun on calling him a top 10 player in the league. And this is coming from someone who actually was really high on Wemby before he even dribbled the ball in the NBA. Like I was one of the people saying that he has a higher offensive ceiling because his mechanics are good. He's going to be one of the greatest defenders of all time. I have a severe problem with Wemby's approach to offense. Severe problem to it. He's averaging 9 threes a game, Chill.
Yes, I did know that.
9 threes a game at 7'4". And this is the problem with Wemby because people say he's top 10, all this stuff. His offense is too reliant on a 3 ball. Like any game where he's not shooting well from 3, his offense looks pedestrian. And that's really odd for a guy with his profile and his stature to be reliant on the 3 ball and be the leading 3-point taker on your team. Because, why is a center averaging 9 threes a game? There's other centers that are better shooters than Wemby that don't take as many threes. And it's not like you're playing into a skill set that's your specialty. You're not even leveraging your greatest asset, which is your frame, because you're inconsistent at posting up in advantageous positions in the paint because you're weak and small at the time. But he doesn't leverage his unique frame enough for me for him to call him a top 10 player. Like his defensive impact, cool. You had 8 blocks the other night. The other team still scored 130. You had 4 blocks.
It was all in the first half, too, by the way. All of the blocks. They were all in the first half.
Yeah, so blocks are cool, right? But what people need to do in this Wemby debate is they need to be able to compartmentalize a skill set from overall impact. As Mars always said, and it's also my position, individual defense, a supremely transcendent individual defensive player doesn't elevate a team as a supremely impactful offensive player. For instance, right? People would say, if I were to ask you who has a more impact on winning, right? Despite the holes in this guy's defense, Harden this year or Wemby this year, what would y'all say?
Wemby.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Who has more? Wait. Who has more holes in their defense?
No. Who has more impact on winning overall?
Oh, who has more impact on winning? Oh, I think it's Wemby, 100%.
This year?
Yeah.
I disagree.
And I understand where you at with James Harden. And I think about what Wemby is doing on that crew particularly. I mean, this is a team that won 20 games last year. That Clipper team, don't get me wrong. I mean, they lost some guys, but James Harden has always been that kind of player. Wemby, how much he affects that team defensively at the rim. When you got a shot blocker like that, and I'm on record saying this, football, when you got a shot blocker like that, you're more aggressive on the perimeter. You're more willing to take chances. And that San Antonio team, not only are they more willing to take chances on defense, it converts to offense, which is what happens when Wemby is blocking shots like that, which would explain why they're one of the better transition teams this year than they were last year. They were at the bottom of the league last year.
But to me, that's more of a theoretical thing because I'm seeing teams still punish them from outside. We're more of a 3-point heavy shooting league, right? And like his shot blocking doesn't necessitate great defense all around like Harden, right? And it's my philosophy with team sports. The guy that can create his own shot and inject life and be the catalyst on offense and as a facilitator will always be more valuable than a guy who's just a defensive monster, and especially one that's this flawed offensively. Like Wemby can't bring the ball up court because he's the center. He's 7 feet tall. His handle's not good. When he catches the ball on the perimeter, his handle's not good enough to drive to the rim to leverage his 7'4" frame.
Football, where are you getting that 25 a game from then? I mean, because that he ain't getting that 25 a game just around the rim.
And the thing is, he takes 9 threes a game, so there's going to be
and it's not like he's shooting 50%. I mean, it's not like he's shooting 60% from the long ball line. He's getting buckets in other areas.
No, but what I'm saying is because of his frame and his length, he's just gonna get. There's enough possessions in the game where he's gonna get buckets because of his freak frame. Right. He has some skill around the basket.
Sure.
And because you take 9 threes a game, there are gonna be games where you score a lot of points because you're just on fire from three. He's only a 35% 3-point shooter. It's not like he's elite from three. Like when you play a spammy type of game, there are gonna be games where you score a lot of points, and then with this frame, he's gonna get a lot of inside or dump off or like these garbage time points. So I can see how 24 adds up with his shot selection and his frame. Sure. What I'm saying is he's not an efficient offensive player, and his offense is weird. It like when you think about floor spacing and the balance of your players, you do not want your center taking a lot of threes because he's camped on the perimeter. So when he has games where he's missing a lot of threes, who's going to be the person rebounding in the middle of the paint? It's going to be your guards. Right. He can't be taking 9 threes a game. I'm sorry.
I won't argue that. No, I won't.
He should not be taking 9 threes a game. People think I'm not hating on him. It's just an observation. For instance, right? You're saying, oh, he's great offensively. He's also easy to deny him the ball, and it's easy for him to make him take bailout shots because of he's skinny and he can't drift. He doesn't have the offensive motor to get inside the paint. So it's very easy for a defender to make him take that three that he already wants to take.
I don't know if it's easy.
Well, it is. He takes 9 a game, and near the end of the process, right?
Well, first of all,
when he plays against Giannis, right? He playing against. It's not only that he takes a lot of threes. He's also doesn't. There's just games where he just doesn't take shots. Like,
I'm saying I understand he takes 9 threes. I don't think it's easy to force him to take 9 threes. I think he chooses to shoot the ball. He shoots a lot of wide open threes too. You know what I mean? So
in transition.
And on
top of
football. Hold on. Go ahead, Chill.
And on top of that, that's his game. I mean, he's not the Olajuwon prototype. His game is tailored after the Euro. His game is tailored after guys like Dirk Nowitzki, stop and pop bigs. Now I think he's going to learn to get quicker buckets around the basket, like diving to the rim. And I think that's working with Chris Paul, where he does get lobs when he's playing in the pick and roll, when he's playing in the pick and dive, and he's with Devin Vassell. They do throw him the ball with Castle. They do throw him the ball at the rim. So I think that stuff does work. But with the stuff that he's getting right now, I mean, I know you don't appreciate the long ball, but he is getting a lot of stuff within the offense where he is putting the ball on the floor and driving to the rim. He's getting a lot of stuff within the offense where he is playing on the block and getting a quick turnaround. He is getting stuff like that around the basket. Now, does that mean that he can get more? Yes. But the traditional center, and I'm on record saying this, Olajuwon, Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, those guys are gone.
It's
They're
not
gone.
Okay,
They're gone, man.
Well, football, we
I
did
got
get
you,
a lot
I
of
got
your
you.
points, bro. We do got a full lobby, fam. I appreciate you pulling up and appreciate your points.
Good talk to you, brother.
Good
Good to talk
topics,
to
bro.
you.
Definitely good topics. Check us next week, man. We'll see you next time.
I got you.
All right, bro.
Real quick, Ox. Is that CNTDA and one and only? He said that I don't care about accolades until it matters. Just so you know, Lajuan, Defensive Player of the Year, 2 times in a row, twice in a row. Bill Russell, they didn't have a Defensive Player of the Year when he was around. And if he was, he'd probably be on an all-league defensive team a number of different times. Dennis Rodman, Defensive Player of the Year. Scottie Pippen made all-league. Scottie Pippen is a first-team all-league defender more than Kawhi Leonard is an all-league defender. He's a first-team all-league defender more than Kawhi Leonard is an all-league defender. Tim Duncan has the most all-league defensive nods. So I don't understand your correlation where you say I don't care about accolades until it works for me. Like, what does that mean? Like, why does Scottie Pippen have to be the Defensive Player of the Year? Tim Duncan ain't the Defensive Player of the Year. So what does that mean? Bill Russell wasn't the Defensive Player of the Year, but they still have accolades. So just because you don't have the Defensive Player of the Year does not mean that you're not one of the best defensive players to ever play. That doesn't mean that. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And that's not what my list is predicated on. That my list is not predicated on that.
Right. Next up, let's get Ballers INT up on stage. Let's see what's up. What's up, Ballers?
What up?
Yo, what's up, fellas?
What up?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's up, fellas? Long time listener. The only kind of problem I had with your list, Chill, was you got the 2004 Pistons #1, but you don't got Ben Wallace on your list as a top 5 defender. And
he's
I
right
think
outside
that,
it too. He's right outside.
Yeah. And I can imagine that. And I'm sure you kind of battle with him and Dennis Rodman because I feel like they have like a similar kind of like play style. I think Ben Wallace was just more effective around the rim, way more effective around the rim.
It was Wallace, Duncan, and KG. Those were the 3 guys that I was having a difficult time with. Them 3 guys in particular.
Yeah, and I think Ben Wallace even around the perimeter was still really effective. You know what I'm saying? And I just think his poise as well. That poise that Ben Wallace always played with. Even in the finals that you seen that you didn't see him blow up like Dennis Rodman did. So that's kind of like the only problem that I had with it. Like, I think that Dennis Rodman with 4 Defensive Player of the Years, with the All NBA nods, with going to Chicago and kind of changing that team into the #1 defense at the time, I believe. So I would like to see Ben Wallace up there. I'm a huge Pistons fan. I love to see Dennis Rodman up there. I love Dennis Rodman as a defender and as a rebounder as well. But
absolutely,
I would love to see Ben Wallace up there at 5.
Yes, sir.
So
no doubt,
definitely.
All right, brother. No doubt. Good to talk to you, my man. Appreciate it. No doubt.
For sure, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Ballers.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
Okay, let me see who we got next. Oh, my man. Yeah. Let's give my man Classic up here. Classic been tripping this week. What's up, Classic?
Yo, what up, guys? I don't appreciate you saying I've been tripping though, Ox. You know I'm right.
You have been tripping. You said that Gilgeous-Alexander is the unanimous league MVP. No, he is not.
The unanimous.
No, he is not.
He is the
unanimous. I didn't even hear you say that.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah. No, he is not.
He the best player on easily the best team.
He's not unanimous, but it's overwhelming though.
Oh, I think that if he keeps doing what he's doing, I do think that he's going to win it. I don't think he's going to win it unanimously though. No, I ain't doing that.
You know I value winning, and yes, I've never seen a player with his stats win like that. So I don't see how it's not unanimous given this season. But I wanted to talk about Anthony Edwards, but I'm gonna get in on the defense thing. I do think that the Oklahoma City, I do think this is the greatest defense that I've seen. And one of the things I got a problem with is I guess how people like view defense. I know a lot of people, they don't value steals and blocks, but I think like steals and blocks are like the most important thing in regards to defense, because it's kind of like there's so many shot makers in the league. I really don't think you can play good on ball defense when the guy is hot. So kind of like with me in football, the best way to stop a good offense is to keep the offense off the field. So when it comes to basketball, I feel like the best way to stop an offensive player is to stop them from getting their shot off. And I think OKC, OKC is the best at stopping players from getting their shot off. The game where they played Cleveland, when they were passing the ball to Evan Mobley, as soon as he caught the ball, they were right there with hands on the ball. Evan Mobley couldn't even do nothing whenever he caught it because they were swarming to the ball. So I feel like that's the best way. They were undersized that game, but because of their speed and athleticism, they were able to prevent them from getting shots up.
They got roughed up last night, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Shea didn't play, and then like a lot of people when they always be like, you know, that debate when there was like, can basketball players play football, or who would be better, NFL players in the NBA? I think people always bring up people like Russell Westbrook or LeBron. I think of somebody like Lou Dort. I feel like if Lou Dort was in the NFL, if Lou Dort was a linebacker, I think he could be an all-pro linebacker. He's already built like that.
He does.
He's already built like that, and he already has that size. And then, but when it comes to the stopping OKC on defense, the one player that I do think can get them problems is Anthony Edwards, which is what I really want to talk about. And I think it's just disgusting what the Timberwolves did in trading Cat. And honestly, if they didn't trade Cat, I think that Anthony Edwards would be the MVP this year because he's already the best three-point shooter in the league, which is crazy. And then he's
the best three-point shooter, or does he have the most threes?
No, he's the best three-point shooter.
You get a better three-point shooter than Curry?
Yep, he's past Curry now.
And you basing that on you basing that on the volume? You basing that on?
I'm basing that. I'm basing that on the volume, the difficulty.
And you can't tell me you're not tripping this week.
But he wild as hell, yo. This is wild. This is wild as hell.
Have y'all seen Anthony Edwards this year shooting the three-pointer?
All I know is
we watch
Classic. If we doing that, Classic. If we doing that, you got to start telling me that Giannis is arguably the best scorer in the game. You have to. You got to do that with me. You can't tell me that SGA is a far and away better scorer than Giannis. You can't tell me that Joker is a far and away better scorer than Giannis. Giannis been in the top 3 in scoring in the last 3 years of production. So if you're gonna do that with Ant, who this is the first time that he's done this, he has not done this over the course of years. So Curry is known for doing this. Not only Curry, there's plenty of long ball shooters like Kyrie Irving who have known to been doing this. So if you're gonna do that with this guy, you have to do that with Giannis. Giannis is arguably the best scorer in the game. You have to do that with him. You have to.
Yeah, but that's arguable, Chill. This year, there has been nobody this season shooting the three ball better than Anthony Edwards has. He's easily been the best 3-point shooter in the league. And if they would have kept Cat, the Timberwolves would be the number 1 seed right now, and Ant would be the MVP. So I think that was criminal what they did in trading away Cat.
What a second, Classic. What a second, Classic. What a second, because the Timberwolves are 22-19. 12 games behind Oklahoma City, who was 34-7. You're telling me Cat makes a 12-game difference?
Yes, he makes a 12-game difference. Yes.
No, he does not.
So how come he's not the MVP?
I mean, he's in the discussion.
That's what I want to know, Classic. Hold on. If he's a 12-game difference maker in the West, how come he's not hands down unanimous MVP instead of SGA?
I mean, because his team's still playing better, and he's on the Knicks. If you like, I think Anthony Edwards is better.
In these other great players.
Yeah, and they're doing good. I think this is the best Knicks team we've seen in a while because Cat is on that team. And I mean, the Timberwolves was in the Western Conference Finals last year, and Ant is a young player. So if they keep them together, they're only going to get better. I don't see how that's a wild take.
Well, I just think there's a 12-game difference from Karl-Anthony Towns. I think that's wild. I do think Cat's a difference maker, but 12 games, that's a little reach, brother. I do got to say that. But Classic, once again, appreciate you having up every time you come up. We definitely appreciate your takes, appreciate your point of view, but we do got to keep it moving.
And real quick, Ox, before you go, just so you know, the talk is. I think you might have sparked the talk because Mike Tomlin. I mean, they're getting phone calls.
Oh yeah, I told y'all, Eric Spoelstra next, man. The Heat, they slipping down the season. I just
want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there.
I have been hearing these things by Mike Tomlin. I've even heard it on TV, but come on, bro, chill with the Eric Spoelstra thing now. All right, Classic.
Hi, you guys have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Let me see. I think we got time for one more because Chill, we do got to talk about something still. We don't got much time.
Yes, we do.
I'm gonna bring one more person up real quick, and then we'll get into that. Chosen, what's up? You there?
What's up, brother?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. You hot?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask Chill. I seen a theme with your listing. 4 out of the 5 guys were more so interior oriented. So I would ask, do you value interior defense more than the perimeter?
I'm on record saying that I do. I feel like did I lose him?
Oh no, I'm still here. You were saying?
I feel like as a perimeter defender, I think that you have more leeway to make mistakes when you have an elite rim protector, when you have an elite post presence, as a post presence, I don't have that. I mean, sure, guys can double, but if you're running up on a dude that's a good passer in the post, I mean, you could get back,
right.
you can get off the ball. When I'm on the box, it's just me and him, and the only thing in between me and him is the rim. That's it.
Yeah. So I guess I was gonna ask, following that up, is like, I noticed you said you had KG, Ben Wallace right outside. I was gonna say, what about somebody like David Robinson, Kevin Garnett? I would ask, what put Scotty over those guys that were elite in the interior, like a David Robinson, a Ben Wallace, because he was the only perimeter defender on the list.
Well, because one, rim protection is also part of your job as a perimeter defender, and Scottie Pippen was great in the post as a defender. He was great, and he was great at the rim as a defender also. Now, was he the shot blocker that David Robinson was? No, I don't think he was that good, but he was damn good at the rim. He was a great help side defender in the post, in addition to being on the perimeter. So Scottie Pippen's versatility as a defender, being able to guard in the post, being able to guard as a roamer in the post, I think it's second to none as a perimeter player.
Okay. And I got the Michael Jordan thing. The Michael Jordan, you said he's in the conversation to be the best, but I would ask, if you're okay. You said name 5 guys over him, right?
I'm interested to hear.
So I'm gonna ask you, Pippen himself, he's better, correct?
I think Scottie Pippen a better perimeter defender than Jay was. I do.
Okay.
I don't think it's a huge gap, but I think
Tip. Come on now.
I think he a better perimeter defender than Jay.
Okay. And we talk about peak for peak, right? Or we talking about a longevity, including everything?
Are we talking about whatever you want to talk about? Sure.
Okay. What about Kawhi Leonard, 2-time depoy?
I think about who he had to go up against. That's why I think the gap with him and Scottie is different, because of who.
So you got MJ over Kawhi?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. LeBron James.
Yeah. No, I got
LeBron.
No.
Oh, I was about to say, boy.
Perimeter defenders. I think James is an overall better defender than Jay. I do.
Yeah. So you got MJ over LeBron on the perimeter only?
Wait. Hold up. What y'all say? Y'all got Bron over Jay on defense?
I think.
Of course.
I think James is a better overall defender than Jordan was. Yeah, I do. I think he was more versatile than Jay. I think he was better at the rim than Jay.
Better in the post than him? What we talking about?
I think he was better on the perimeter. I think
better off ball for sure.
I do. I think he was better than Jay. Yes.
Okay. Jrue Holiday.
Separation. No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Jrue Holiday wasn't better. Jrue Holiday wasn't better.
Who was the who won depoy on the Lakers in the 80s?
Michael Cooper.
Yeah, Mike Coop.
Mm-mm. You
got Jay over here?
Yes, I do.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
You stupid me, Chill.
Mm.
You stupid me right now. I'm trying to think, my brother.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could. It's plenty of guys. I mean, Alvin Robinson, Sidney Moncrief, Joe Dumars, Tony Allen.
Sidney Moncrief, he over there.
Bruce Bowen,
Joe
Dumars. I mean, I can't name 5 perimeter defenders better than Jay. Kobe Bryant. I can't believe I forgot Bryant. But I can't name 5 perimeter defenders better than Jay. No, I can't.
All right. That's all I had to ask about, brother. Man. I appreciate y'all, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bro. Good to have you. All right, Chill. So
But before we move further, let me get it out. Hold on. I gotta get my pillow for my boy Big Ox because he about to get on the couch. My boy Big Ox about to get on the couch because we got to have a therapy session. We just do. Unfortunately, we need to talk because it's something that's been weighing down on my man, and we need to get it out. So we have to get to the bottom of this. So, Ox, I'm sorry.
As you know, Chill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real down on Stephon Marberry.
Can't stand him.
I'm real down on Stephon Marberry, and a lot of us know why, because he left KG stranded in Minnesota after being on the team, making the playoffs, and just leaving him hanging. He went on Carmelo's podcast and he spoke on that. He talked about it. We saw it. Chill, how did you feel about what Steph had to say?
I was actually surprised when he left, Doc, to be honest with you. But you know, he's a New York dude, and his family tried to convince him to stay out there, and he wouldn't. I thought it was just about the bread, because it wasn't just about the bread. I do think that he broke up something special. I do. But I mean, the same thing we doing with Kawhi Leonard when he left Toronto. I mean, we got to do the same thing with Marberry. I mean, I can't afford to do it for wanting to go home. I can't not fault the guy for wanting to go home. Unfortunately, even if it's at the expense of breaking up something special, which was on its way to being that. Like we had Kobe and Shaq. If Marberry and Garnett stay together, we got something serious, Ox. We do. If them two dudes stay together, we got something for real.
I think so too, Chill. I just look at it like when faced with adversity, it's a time to grow. It's a time to thrive.
Yep.
I mean, I understand if you were scared because you slipped on black ice a couple of times, but slow down. What you driving so fast for?
You don't have to do that. It's cold in New York. It snows in New York too. You can slip on black ice in New York too.
It's black ice in Oregon, California. You just got to slow down. You know what I mean? You can't drive fast like that.
Well, the environment, Ox, is the issue that I have, right? The environment was what he was talking about. You know, I almost slipped on black ice. Ox, I don't know if you noticed, but he got robbed at a light in New York. He's home at gunpoint. Right. He got robbed. That's not happening in Minnesota. That's not. Ain't nobody running up on you in Minnesota. No, that's not happening.
I mean, Minneapolis, they got some areas in Minneapolis just like every other big city. Yeah. But like to your point, there's no need for you to be there anyway, Steph. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that probably won't happen to you in Minneapolis because you shouldn't be in those areas. You're not from there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy to me. Chill. He said the diversity issue. I went to Atlanta and played, and there was all black folks there. I grew up around black folks, and I come to Minneapolis, and it's predominantly white folks. But you went to China. Ain't no brothers in China. How long was he in Beijing? Ain't no brothers in Beijing.
They built a statue of him out there, Ox. That's how long he was
out there. I'm saying, so I just felt like, you know, Chill, and mind you, he was a kid, though. He was young, and I mean, I made mistakes as a youngster too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not. It's not like I'm condemning him. I'm just upset, obviously, for my own biased reasons. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, he was a youngster. You know what I mean? And when you're faced with certain things, you know, sometimes I just want to go home. But you know, he made that decision. I disagree with it, but once again, it was his decision to make. I just feel like some of those excuses is kind of, you know, it's like, it wasn't no black folks out there. It was cold. There wasn't no diversity. It's like, bro, but you from Coney Island. It's freezing over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, then you went to China. There ain't no brothers in China.
Not many.
You know,
primarily Chinese people out there.
Right. You know, primarily. I mean, you if you don't want to slip on black ice, this is a tip for all 350 people out here. The tip is, if you don't want to slip on black ice, slow down.
It's really that simple.
Slow down, okay? So
it really is.
You know, Chill, I'm gonna tell you the truth. This video, the clip, it didn't help me, Chill. It made it worse.
Trying. I was trying. That's what I was trying to do. That's why I got the pillow out. That's why I got the big fella on the couch, put his feet up. Yo, talk to me, big man. What's going on, man? Can we get to the bottom of this? Marberry. I mean, he was a 19-year-old kid when he moved to Minnesota. He stayed there. Let's see, 96, 97, 97, 98. So he stayed there, 2 years? He was out there. 20-year-old kid. Would him being young, would that suffice for you, Ox? Because again, like you said, when you're young, you do a lot of things that you wouldn't do when you're older, and you look back on them like, man, I don't know if I should have made that decision. Do you think that Marberry regrets that?
I think so. I mean, I think he regrets it just in the sense of like just like how I was saying, maybe if he would have been a little older, he would have thought like, yeah, I did slip on that ice, but maybe it's on me. Maybe I could have slowed down, or you know what I'm saying? Maybe I could have realized like, yeah, I didn't grow up around white folks like that, but maybe this is my time to broaden, my circle and go out there and meet some of these new people, so I 100% appreciate that, respect that. I know for a fact if I could go back, I would have took a couple more visits, different trip, went to different schools. I would have went to UNLV. You know what I mean? I look back at things like that, like, oh yeah, I would have made different decisions. I can definitely see that for him. So once again, I'm not blaming him today. I'm just looking back at him then, like, yo, what were you thinking? You know what I'm saying?
You was thinking like a 20-year-old kid. Huh? That's what he was thinking.
Exactly.
That's
Still, but because I look at it like that's a point guard's dream. Yes. And to me, I would think like I'm with Kevin Garnett. You know what I'm saying? A guy that I've been knowing for years, and we make the playoffs. We getting all the love in the city. So, that's I look at it like that. Like I'm obviously it's a bias thing, like I've already said. You know what I'm saying? Now, kids make mistakes. We all made mistakes. Once again, like I said, I made tons of mistakes when I was young, so I can't hold it against who he is today because he's grown. And with that being said, Stephon Marbury went and had a heck of a career. You know what I'm saying? He played with other teams, and in China, like you said, they built statues of him. So that's the only reason I'm down on it, because it's just like, imagine what him and KG could have been. You know what I'm saying, into the 2000s, and for that's the only reason I'm down on it. But shout out to Steph,
For the record, Marberry said his mother said to him, "I never seen you connect with anybody like you do with him."
Right.
I mean, I know that doesn't help, Ox, but his mother said, quote, "Of all the boys you ever played with, I never seen you connect with anybody like you do with him." I mean,
if so busy,
if that ain't confirmation right there that my mama looking at him like, yo, you need to stay with him. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know what else it is.
Chill, before we wrap it up, Chill, I want to ask you, when you look back on them two together, and they were super young still at the time, when you look back at those two together, do you, like, projection wise, where do you see that duo? You know what I'm saying? Do you see them maybe making the finals? Do you see them maybe grabbing somebody else and taking on the Lakers? Do you see them? What do you see from them? Was a ring a possibility for them?
Yes, it was. Well, Garnett got to the West Finals with Sprewell, who was in year 12, and Sam Cassell, who was in year 12. Imagine him growing up with Marberry. Imagine him growing up with a 20-8 guy, and them putting those pieces around Garnett, the defender that he was, the distributor that Marberry was, the playmaker that Marberry was, and the scorer that he was. Imagine them putting the necessary pieces around those two guys. If you put those pieces around them 100%, I think they have just as good a chance. They would be challenging in the Western Conference for the NBA championship. At some point, they would have done that.
Right. And I mean, we saw Steph go band for band with Kobe a few times. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like that. It's not like that wasn't in his repertoire at all. But PC fam, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Claire is literally texting me right now.
I literally just had to stop my phone because this her right here saying, "Okay, guys, let's go. Wrap it up."
I'm telling you, 3 minutes ago, right here. I'm looking. I'm seeing her 10:27. She texted me 8 minutes ago. But before we do, Carlos Hernandez dropped another super chat. Let's see what he has to say. He says, "Hey, Chill. Last question. What do you think of the Mavs looking to trade Gafford? I don't agree with it because that's what made them good with that rotation with Lively."
I think they're looking for some scoring in the post more than anything, and they don't have that right now. I mean, Gafford is a pick and dive, lob threat at the rim, but I think they're looking for some scoring at the post, and I think that they want to develop Lively more. So that's why I think they're moving on from him.
Yeah, I did see too that they were looking. Well, supposedly that they were looking to add some wing defense too. So. We'll see.
That would not surprise me.
Well, Guys, it's the middle of the season. We're at the halfway point, y'all. Let's lock in. Let's buckle down. Let's watch some basketball, and let's enjoy the season, y'all. April will be here before you know it, and then it'll be playoff time, and then playoffs will be over, and then we'll be in the summertime. Like, oh man, I can't wait for hoop to start. So y'all make sure y'all watch basketball, watch basketball. We got unrivaled women's 3-on-3. We got the NBA going. We got Euro League in full swing. We got college basketball, men's and women's. High school basketball is still going for another month and a half. Y'all go check out some of your local high school teams, man. Let's watch some basketball, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Watch some basketball. Duke, I don't care if Cino got a question. We out of here. Chill, you got anything to say?
Later. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Amen. Call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. And if you're ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, pick up the telephone. Call my dude. He'll come scoop you. He will not leave you out there. We will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys.
All right,
Later. It was dope.
I'm not hating.